Capsule.
All right, welcome back, everyone. So, in our last volume, we saw Van finally get a moment to breathe, right? He secured his barony, started to make a real name for himself, but you know how it is, peace never lasts long. And in Volume 5, just when he's ready to really dig in and build up his territory, a brand new royal command drops. And this one is going to push his skills to the absolute limit and pretty much decide the fate of the entire kingdom.
So let's get right into it. The king has ordered Van to rebuild this totally ruined fortress on the front lines. I mean, we're talking right in the enemy's face. For any other noble, this is basically a death sentence, you know? A one-way ticket to disaster. It's an impossible job.
But this is Van we're talking about, right? For him, a punishment? No way. This is the ultimate opportunity. He's about to unleash his production magic and build the defensive masterpiece he's always dreamed of. We're talking something inspired by those legendary Japanese castles, a fortress literally designed to funnel and trap any army foolish enough to attack it.
And the result? It's so incredible, so strategically brilliant, it just leaves his own family completely stunned. And that includes his older brother, Mersha, who shows up at his absolute lowest point. See, he just got stripped of his title as heir. He's probably expecting to find his little brother sitting in a pile of rubble, and instead, he finds this absolute masterpiece.
And this is where you see Van's genius at work, solving two massive problems at once. First, the fortress itself is a strategic marvel, a complete maze of layered defenses, deadly choke points, the whole 9 yards. But then, he tackles the family problem. In this amazing gesture of reconciliation, he actually appoints Mercia as the fortress governor and commander. He gives him a new purpose, and even names the new stronghold Fortress City Mercia in his honor. How about that?
Of course, a fortress like this isn't going to go unnoticed for long. This brand new, supposedly impregnable stronghold, it's immediately put to the ultimate test. You see, the enemy nation, Yelenita, is not just going to sit back and let this new threat stand on their border.
So Yelenita launches this huge surprise attack. And get this, they've brought a brand new game-changing weapon to the party. We're talking something powered by these mysterious and seriously explosive black balls.
And these cannons are absolutely devastating. They smash right through the brand new steel gates in a single shot, shaking the entire fortress to its core. Now, Van's advanced ballistae managed to hold the line. They force a retreat. But he knows that's just a temporary fix. He needs a permanent solution. So in this just incredible display of power, he uses his production magic to completely reshape the landscape in front of the fortress. He adds slopes, makes the ground all uneven, throws up walls and trees. He literally makes it physically impossible for the enemy to aim their heavy artillery ever again. Problem solved.
Okay, so with the border temporarily secure, Van finally gets to head home to Cedo Village. But, you know, a lord's work is never done. The village is facing a completely different kind of challenge. It's booming. We're talking explosive population growth, and it's really straining all of its resources. So he gets right to work on this massive civic planning project. I mean, he's laying out new schools, hospitals, even a giant public bathhouse. And this is where you really see how much he's grown as a leader. He knows he can't do it all himself, so he focuses on recruiting talented administrators based purely on merit. We're talking former slaves, disgraced nobles, people who are capable, period. And that kind of move really challenges the kingdom's whole rigid social structure.
Meanwhile, while Van is busy building a modern society from the ground up, his two arrogant older brothers, Jard and Sesto, show up on the front lines. They've been sent to get some military glory, but they completely underestimate Van, thinking his success is just, dumb luck. They waste all their money on cheap, unreliable mercenaries, and when they finally see Van's territory, they are just left completely bewildered. But are they impressed? Nope. They stubbornly refuse to admit how brilliant he is.
This petty family drama, though, gets overshadowed pretty quickly because the stakes are about to be raised from a simple border skirmish to a full-blown national conflict.
The king of Scuderia himself, King Dino, arrives at the front. And he did not come alone. He brings with him an army of 10,000 elite royal soldiers. They are ready for a full-scale invasion of Yelenita.
And unlike Van's own family, the king is deeply impressed, not just by the fortress, but by Van's incredible strategic mind. When Van explains Yeleneta's new cannons, and this is the crucial part, their terrifying potential to evolve and get even stronger, the king immediately gets it. He understands the existential threat they're facing. And that changes everything.
The king realizes time is running out before Yeleneta develops weapons they can't stop, so he makes a bold decision. The invasion happens now. The whole war timeline gets accelerated, and he declares Van's incredible fortress city Murcia the main staging ground for the entire campaign. The plan? Crush the enemy, once and for all.
But while Scuderia is getting ready for this massive knockout blow, their old rival across the border is starting to seriously panic. The leadership in Yeleneta, well, they're seeing their entire world just crumble around them.
The princes of Yeleneta are just completely baffled. They keep losing to a nation they always thought was inferior. And this really highlights their incredibly precarious situation. They are utterly dependent on a superpower, the Solstice Empire, which has been the one supplying them with all these advanced blackball weapons.
Yeah, they are painfully aware of their position here. They're just pawns in a much larger game. And they know that if they fail, if they can't prove they're useful by defeating Scuderia, their powerful ally will just cast them aside. And that would mean the total collapse of their nation.
And we all know, a desperate nation is a dangerous one. So with Scuderia's 10,000-strong army on the march and Yeleneta's back pushed right up against the wall, the stage is now set for an absolutely explosive conflict. The big question is, what desperate, final gamble will Yeleneta make in Volume 6?
Plot Capsule.